Hey guys, Lauren here.
Hi, it's Nicola.
We're here for tea and a chat about our journey, how we've become friends, and our journey of moving from the Midlands to Edinburgh. So we followed quite similar yet different paths at different stages in our life. We actually met through work. Did you want to go into more about how we met?
I remember sitting next to Lauren. We just ended up sitting together, and I think we just came across chatting about some books.
Yeah, we were talking about book recommendations, and we found that we had quite common interests. We're both quite into spirituality and just personal development.
Self-help books.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? But yeah, so we kind of bonded over that. We found we had a lot in interest. We both enjoyed getting outdoors, and a lot of the things we enjoyed doing, pretty much, they were the same as each other.
Yeah.
So we swapped a few books, made coffee dates, and met up and had coffee, trips along Princess Street. And that's really where our friendship flourished. We just got out and really enjoyed each other's company.
Yeah.
And how many years on are we now?
I think we're on the third year or something.
Yeah, the third year, that's it.
But to be honest, it's when you're relocating or moving to somewhere new, I know it was the same case for yourself and me, is finding friends and building proper friendship can be quite difficult because first of all you're in a new location, and also there's a lot of pressure to build relationships. Exactly, build relationships, jump into circles and all that. There's a sort of pressure into getting yourself that, but I think how we built our friendship came naturally, but it was on the basis of common interests, I think.
That's it. It was quite an organic friendship, to be honest. It wasn't a forced, like when I was around Nicola, I didn't feel like I had to pretend to be anyone that I'm not that I do that, but it just flowed quite naturally.
Yeah, and same here for myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like when you find someone like that, like I was quite surprised because it was a concern of mine. I moved up partly because of my boyfriend, well actually because of my boyfriend. We were both together and decided to move in together. So for me, it was very important to have friends outside my relationship with my boyfriend. So work was really helpful for me.
Same here.
In fact, like our job has been great for making friends, and Nicola's definitely one that I cherish and have such a good relationship with.
Absolutely same for me. I'm sort of it was in the same situation, but not. I think I made the decision to move to Edinburgh after living in Birmingham, and then I lived in London, and it just didn't feel like home. You know, somewhere feels like home. You just know it. And so basically, I had wanted to move up to Edinburgh for some amount of time, but I really I couldn't take the plunge because I didn't know anyone there. And then I'd met my partner, and along the lines where I felt I was comfortable living here and knowing someone. That was a good starting point for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, knowing someone is a good starting point, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know Nicola took the more independent route. So whereas I moved in with my boyfriend, Nicola really wanted to get rooted in Edinburgh, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I stayed at my partner's for about a month while I was looking for a flat share. Again, I wanted a flat shares because when you live with people, you get to build relationships and learn. It's a good learning experience, basically. Exactly. When you live with people. So I wanted that, and I did succeed in finding a really beautiful flat, and I did live with a bunch of great people, and I learned loads from them as well. We shared a lot in common. So I was living flat share for a good, I would say 2 years. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years and a bit. When you look for a flat in somewhere like Edinburgh, it's really different to a place in London. They do actually conduct, I would say, interviews here. It's all face to face. They like to get to know you, and I think it's a really good process because imagine living with someone that just saw you face value and they would just ask, I don't know, you didn't really take time to find out about another person. You might not enjoy living with this person in the long run.
That's it. So establishing that early on is definitely a good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, having the interviews, because anyone can read anything about someone online.
Yeah.
But actually meeting them face to face,
getting that connection makes a difference.
Definitely, and it can make a much more enjoyable experience. Of course, there's always going to be some sort of problems with sharing. That's just normal.
You're sharing space with someone, and this is where you find that you learn boundaries, you set up boundaries, and also you learn to respect other people's spaces and the space that you're sharing.
Exactly.
That's really important.
It's definitely a journey as well in working with everyone in the same space. Like Nicola said, I think respect and communication is definitely the foundations, and from there it's plain sailing. Or as plain sailing as it can be. So yeah, it can definitely be a really enjoyable experience. And it's a great way to move to a city that you've wanted to move to. So it may not be affordable, for example, or you may not even want to rent your own space because it can be quite lonely. Whereas when you're doing a flat share, you're meeting new people, you've got company, you're seeing the city for what it is, and it can be a really great way to experience the city.
Yeah, and next bit was finding the job. I don't know if it was the same for you.
No, for me it was a little bit different. I'd was staying in the Midlands where I'd lived, and I was feeling the same as Nicola. I'd got back from a year in Australia, and then it just wasn't really feeling like home where I was from. Nothing against where it was. I think I was just looking for something different. So what I did, I was working jobs where I lived, like my hometown, and then I started applying for jobs in Edinburgh. And then as soon as I was offered a start date, I was quite fortunate that I moved in with my boyfriend's family. So we stayed in a room there, and so we were quite fortunate that way. So that's how I did it. But I think I could do it that way because we didn't have the added stress of having to find a flat. So that's the way I did it. How did you do it?
So I was lucky that I could have somewhere to stay before finding somewhere to live. And then now that I have an address, like a local address, I just spent a good solid week job hunting. I was really fortunate. I was offered a job within about end of the week. Of course, we end up working together. Also, you know what? Make sure you have a bit of saving at hand, because you never know how long it can take. Like for me, I did save up just for this run up of moving, because when you're finding a flat share, you will need to obviously put a deposit in, and also
buy utensils and things like that.
Small bits and bobs like that you need for your room. And also, take rent into consideration up front if you don't have a job yet. Like myself, I had that planned in advance. Just to obviously make sure that
it's giving yourself the best shot.
Exactly.
So you don't want to do it and then run out of money and have to come back. So it's about being realistic. Depending on which city you're moving to, of course, some cities are more expensive than others. I think a good rule of thumb is maybe to have at least 3 months behind you. 3 months living income and rental income just behind you, just to give yourself the best shot, because the worst thing you could do is ruin an experience for yourself by not having that plan in place, of having those things behind you, and instead of being able to experience the city you want. Because of course it can be difficult to find work as well, and you're not always going to be able to find it right away. It does depend on what you're looking for, how open-minded you are, and also of course the employment market at the moment. So there are lots of factors.
It's a really good idea to stay open-minded. For example, when I was living in England, I was working as a makeup artist for a big brand in London, but they weren't really offering that job up in Edinburgh. And also, I really enjoyed doing makeup in a specific way, which is slightly different to how Northerners generally wear their makeup. So I had a specific preference in doing makeup. So for me, it was quite difficult to bring this kind of job I had in England up north. And so I stayed open-minded and rethink, the skills I already had, which was customer service and retail, and I went into that instead of staying in beauty, and I have no regrets whatsoever.
Exactly, and it's about being realistic as well. So like Nicola said, she remained open-minded about it. knew what she wanted to do, but knew at this point in time in her life that wasn't necessarily practical. So it's about diving deep within and finding your skills that you've got already that are transferable and you can just jump into most jobs with.
Exactly.
And then on to the fun bit. So exploring your local city, exploring your new home. So this is one of the things that I found the most enjoyable. Me and Nicola are always going out for walks to new places, new favourites. Like we love Cramond, we love Dean Village, Arthur's Seat, the Pentlands. There are so many places in Edinburgh. For me, of course I'm biased because I live here now, but for me I feel like Edinburgh is one of the perfect cities. You've got the beach, a 25-minute ride from the centre, you've got Cramond and Cramond waterfalls, you've got nice hikes, you've got nice little neighbourhoods as well, like Stockbridge. And that's been one of the best things, finding someone you can enjoy and experience that with.
Yeah, like I used to live near the sea, which was a great experience and new experience for me because I used to live in the city. So, you know, what I experienced was busy roads, just a lot of people too. So this was a lovely experience where I could do a 10-15 minute walk and I would see a lighthouse and experience the sea. And then go up to Cramond and do lots of like walks. And where I currently live, there's loads of bike paths and green paths, so you can do a circuit within an hour or something and just really enjoy the fresh air. And it's tucked away literally within like the neighbourhood. It's discreet. It's a good way of staying active and
while in a bustling environment. You've got your cafes, literally you're surrounded in the neighbourhood we're in at the moment. You're surrounded by cafes, what, a 15-minute bus ride and you're by the shore?
Yeah, the shore. Yeah.
So there's so much at your disposal.
You can actually walk to the shore within 20 minutes. Less than that, yeah.
Exactly. And like one thing I'd say is be a tourist. I've been here 3 years now and I still love finding new places to go. I love exploring the city. I love revisiting old places because there's so much you can find, lots of little nooks that you've maybe not thought about. Check out blog posts, check out YouTube videos, check out tourism guys like TripAdvisor. You can find cute little cafes. There are so many things you can do in your local city, and don't think that you have to move to like a big city to experience that. I can guarantee there will be places where you live, little walks that you haven't explored before. So definitely make the most of it.
What sets Edinburgh apart from other places for you?
Of course, for me, it meets all my needs. So it's got great public transport. You can get pretty much anywhere really cost effectively for not much money. You can visit the Highlands. There's so many tour companies. Yes, I've lived here for a while, and yes, I still go on those tours.
I think the tours are great. Good. They're really good value.
Yeah, you can go on Loch Ness tours, which are great. There are just so many options. You can also drive to different places. Like I know that's something you found.
We've done that. Yeah, we've done the driving bit. Like we've done the car rental, driving to the Isle of Mull, and then we caught a ferry to Iona, and then when we came back, we went to Isle of Mull and then caught the ferry, and we took the route going up north and then diverted south to through like Glencoe, and it was amazing. We didn't obviously stay in Glencoe, but it was just an amazing experience to see it.
That's it.
Without even staying there and camping there,
like
which takes time and effort.
Exactly. The journey can sometimes be better than the destination, and it's just about exploring.
Well, we love the road trips. That's another like really good excuse to get out and about, like taking a road trip and then doing one-day trips, hikes,
exactly.
walks.
That's it. We've got Blackford Hill, which is another hill that you can go up. We've got Arthur's Seat. If you ever plan to visit Edinburgh, you can be at the foot of Arthur's Seat within about 20 minutes from Waverley Station, 20-25 minutes depending on your pace. And there are just so many great walks. You've got, what's it called? Dr. Neil's Garden. So that is stunning. So it's only open seasonally, so definitely check the website. But you've got the massive lock that it looks onto, and I don't know, for me, I just couldn't think of a better place to call home, but that's because it ticks all the boxes for me. I like being in a city and having the city vibe, but also access to nature and hikes. I drive but don't have a car, so that's something that's really important to me, being able to access these beauty spots. So
yeah, I think for me was it's a city, but it's not too built up. People were like really friendly. Like the first day I've ever set foot in Edinburgh properly alone, it was great, and that was a lasting impression for me. And then having again the access to the mountains, the hills, the water, or nearby was just an absolute amazing bonus.
That's it. It's the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like Nicola said, the locals are lovely.
Yeah.
Like, it's an absolutely beautiful city to live in, and we're so grateful to have the opportunity to actually live here. So that's all from me. Did you have anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, that's all.
Perfect. So we hope you enjoyed our video on why we love Edinburgh so much, our journey relocating from the Midlands to Scotland. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We'll be posting more content more regularly. Sorry, mixed my words up there. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.